People often show up when times are good, but vanish when you're struggling. True loyalty is rare and must be earned, not assumed. This reality becomes clear in the hardest seasons of your life. When everything is going well, when you're winning, when you're popular, when success is at your doorstep, it's easy to find company. People love to be around success. They love the energy, the attention, the benefits that come with standing close to someone who's on the rise. It makes them feel like they're a part of something bigger. In those moments, you may feel surrounded by supporters, by friends, by people who say they have your back. But the moment life turns difficult, that crowd begins to disappear. When you fail, when you lose money, when you're emotionally broken, when you're no longer able to give or entertain, most of those so-called friends become ghosts. They stop answering your calls. They don't check in. Suddenly, they're too busy. They move on to the next person who's shining, chasing the next high. It's painful to witness, but it's also one of the most important lessons life can teach you. Not everyone who walks with you is walking for you. This is where many people get heartbroken. They confuse association with loyalty. Just because someone is present during your moments of joy doesn't mean they'll remain during your storms. The truth is, most people are there for what you can offer them, not for who you are. It's transactional. You provide value and they stick around. The moment that value disappears, so do they. It's not that they hate you. It's not personal. It's just that their loyalty was never real. It was borrowed from your status, not rooted in your struggle. True loyalty, on the other hand, is rare. It's not loud. It doesn't need recognition. It doesn't show up only when it's convenient. It shows up when it's needed most. The friend who sits with you in silence when words fail. The person who checks in not because they want something, but because they care. These people don't need announcements. They don't come with conditions. They just remain steady and real while others fade away. You only discover these people when everything falls apart. Failure is the great filter. It reveals who's genuinely invested in you and who's just tagging along for the ride. It's a painful, necessary separation. You'll feel betrayed, yes, but you'll also feel freed. Because now you know who to trust. You know where to focus your energy. You know that real strength doesn't come from having many people around you, but from recognizing who actually belongs in your life. Stop assuming loyalty. Test it. Observe it. Don't be so quick to call someone a friend just because they clap for you when you're winning. Anyone can cheer from the sidelines of your success, but who's there when the stands are empty? Who's there when the lights go out? That's who counts, that's who matters. And most importantly, that's who you should build with. This mindset doesn't make you bitter. It makes you wise. It makes you more grounded in your journey. The world isn't full of enemies, but it isn't full of friends either. The faster you accept that, the stronger you'll become. You'll stop wasting energy chasing approval, and you'll start focusing on building something unshakable within yourself. Because at the end of the day, the real power is in knowing you can stand alone and still rise. Depending on others for validation or support weakens your discipline. Strength comes from relying on your own vision and resilience. The moment you begin to lean on others to feel confident, capable, or motivated, you hand over control of your life. You give people power over your emotions, your focus, and even your future. That's a dangerous place to be. Because people are unpredictable. They change, they leave, they get busy, they have their own problems. And if your inner fire depends on someone else constantly fueling it, you'll burn out the moment they walk away. Discipline is built in silence. It grows in the moments when no one is watching, when no one is clapping, and when no one is cheering you on. That's when it truly counts. The work you do when no one is there to praise you. That's the foundation of real success. And the only way to build that kind of discipline is by learning to move forward without needing external encouragement. Your vision has to be strong enough to guide you even when the world ignores you. Your goals have to matter to you more than they matter to anyone else. That's the only way to make it. Validation feels good, no doubt. Everyone likes to be acknowledged. Everyone likes to be told they're doing a great job. But if that's what you rely on to keep going, then what happens when you hit a dry spell? What happens when no one notices the work you're putting in? What happens when the results take longer than expected? That's when many people give up. Not because they're incapable, but because they were fueled by attention instead of purpose. Purpose is a different kind of fuel. It doesn't fade when applause disappears. It doesn't vanish when friends go silent. Purpose keeps you going when your body is tired and your mind is doubtful. But you can't build a purpose around other people's opinions. You have to sit with yourself, get brutally honest about what you want, and commit to it, regardless of how others react. That kind of inner clarity is what separates people who dream from people who do. Support is helpful, but it should be a bonus, not a requirement. When people do support you, appreciate it. When they don't, keep moving. Don't let it affect your pace. The problem is too many people stop when they don't see. They question themselves, doubt their path, and hesitate. But growth doesn't come from comfort. It comes from showing up consistently, especially when you feel invisible. The truth is, no one is going to wake you up every morning and force you to chase your goals. No one is going to hold your hand through every setback. People can guide you, inspire you, maybe even walk with you for a while. But the journey is yours. You have to take responsibility for it. You have to decide that no matter what happens, no matter who leaves or stays, you're going to show up for yourself every single day. That's what discipline is. Showing up when it's hard, when it's boring, when it's lonely. And once you stop depending on others to push you, you become unstoppable. Just because you're not running on approval anymore. You're running on vision. And vision doesn't fade. Vision sharpens. Vision gets stronger every time you honor it with action. So stop waiting for someone to believe in you. Be your own believer. Stop waiting for permission. Give it to yourself. The world doesn't owe you encouragement, but you owe yourself effort. Keep showing up. Keep grinding. Keep moving. Let your progress be your proof, not their praise. That's where real power lives, within you. The path to success is lonely by design. It's where distractions are minimized and clarity is born. Many people imagine success as a loud, celebrated journey filled with constant support, collaboration, and recognition. But in reality, the road to something great is often silent, solitary, and full of internal battles. This isn't because the world is against you. It's because true growth demands separation. You can't find your best self while constantly surrounded by noise, opinions, and the comfort of the crowd. When you choose to pursue something extraordinary, you immediately separate yourself from the average. You begin doing things that others aren't willing to do, waking up earlier, working when others relax, saying no to distractions, cutting off unhealthy habits, and sometimes even distancing yourself from people who no longer align with your vision. That process, while necessary, is also incredibly isolating. You'll feel misunderstood. You'll feel like you're missing out. You'll watch others laugh, play, and coast while you grind in silence. And that's the moment where many people quit. Not because they aren't capable, but because they can't handle the solitude that success demands. Solitude, however, is not your enemy, it's your ally. It's in the quiet that you learn who you really are. It's when the world fades that your purpose becomes clearer. Distractions die down and discipline steps forward. In the loneliness, you start listening to your inner voice instead of the crowd. And that voice, your instincts, your drive, your values, that's what leads you to greatness. You won't hear it clearly until the noise of the world is turned off. This lonely path also teaches you how to rely on yourself. It trains you to become your own motivator, your own coach, your own believer. When no one's watching, when no one's praising you, when no one's there to pick you up, you learn how to do it yourself. That's a level of power that most people never tap into because they're too dependent on others to carry them through the hard parts. But the truth is, the higher you go, the less company you'll have. The air gets thinner at the top. Not everyone can breathe there. You also start to see who's real and who's just along for the ride. When you're not shining, when you're not winning, who sticks around? The loneliness filters your circle. It reveals who supports you because of who you are, not because of what you have or what you can give. And that's a gift in itself, because when you finally reach your goals, you'll know exactly who deserves to be there beside you. There's also a deep focus that comes with walking alone. You stop comparing, you stop competing with others, and you start competing with yourself. Each day becomes about being better than the day before. That mindset shift is powerful. It removes the pressure of performing for the world and replaces it with the purpose of performing for your own growth. You're no longer driven by fear of judgment. You're driven by the hunger to fulfill your potential. It's important to understand that loneliness on the path to success doesn't last forever. Eventually, you'll attract the right people, those who resonate with your values, your mission, your mindset. But in the beginning, you must be willing to walk alone. You must embrace the isolation, not as a punishment, but as preparation. It's shaping you, sharpening you, and separating you from the ordinary. So if you're in a season of solitude right now, don't run from it. Lean into it, build in it, grow in it. Because when you finally arrive, you'll realize it was that lonely path that built your strength, shaped your character, and made your success real, not just visible, but earned.